how successful it's becoming. But before we wrap up here, I just would love to get your take on this. You were referenced last year on Monday Night Raw as part of a backstage segment, but I think the question that we would love to hear you answer is, have they ever asked you to actually appear on camera and a part of a storyline?
No, and I wouldn't. They did ask, though. It's sort of funny. They did ask. I wouldn't do it only because I wouldn't want to do anything that would demean the role I have as the lawyer for the company. I wouldn't want to do that. And but one time they were kind of a funny story. They were coming to town, and it was in Pittsburgh, and it was in the context of that storyline where Rock had somebody had run over Stone Cold in a car or something like that, if I remember the storyline correct. And so Stephanie calls me in my office one day when they come to town. She goes, Jerry, we need a detective. We need somebody to play a detective, just sort of a bit role. Do you have anybody over there that can do that? And at that moment, one of my partners, a friend of mine by the name of Mark Rush, whose father and brother were both detectives, walks in my office, and I said, I think I got the guy for you. So he goes over, and he plays his bit part where Rock sort of questioned him, and Mark standing with his little notepad like he's a detective, asking him questions about, do you know who ran over Stone Cold in the car and whatnot? and Rock's doing his thing, and he finally goes to him, do you like donuts? And Mark and Mark goes, playing role, yeah, I like donuts. He goes, well, let me tell you what you can do with those donuts. Then he goes, you can stick them straight up your candy ass, the whole thing. Well, so the next morning when Mark came to work, there were donuts all over his desk at work, and he literally could not walk down the street of Pittsburgh for a couple of weeks thereafter, where people weren't pointing him out and saying, "Hey, there's a detective," and it was amazing the number of people who recognized him just from that little bit part he did on the show. So I've had partners did it, but I haven't done it myself.
That's fantastic. What a great